What's going on, YouTube? CVH here with
Gorby.
All right, bringing you our
Card of the week.
Yeah.
It's the first one from Evo Fury, guys. I haven't had a whole lot of time with the set yet, but CVH and Carl.
Should we talk about something else first, or should we wait for the
end?
We'll
wait for the end.
Anyway, yeah, me and Carl have gotten a little bit of testing, some with Kevin too, a little bit with Sean. Gorby just got here, but as you all know, we held the contest for Card of the Week suggestions last week in the Strategist video. The winner is BJSWP56, whose suggestion was Tendril Grasp. He was the first to suggest Tendril Grasp.
First to suggest Tendril Grasp.
Yes.
That's how you say that. So congratulations, you'll be getting a signed copy of Tendril Grasp from Carl.
A signed copy of Starlight Strategist.
Starlight Strategist, excuse me.
Yes.
Starlight Strategist. Right now, we're going to get into Tendril Grasp.
Indeed.
This week's Card of the Week. Little picture for you guys there, since Carl doesn't want to edit it in. But, Tendril Grasp. Does it use the art from anything we've seen before?
Probably. Yami Michael will know. I don't know.
Yami Michael, it's on you.
Nothing that was in English, so. But, what it does, it's a level 6 nature spell. Tell them the effect.
It's a level 6 nature spell. It's a shield blast. And what it does is you put all creatures that are level 3 or less from the battle zone into their owner's mana zone.
Wow.
It's a concept that we have not seen in Duel Masters. So this is something entirely new to Kaijudo.
And of course, level-based removal being new to Kaijudo. And this is the first instance of a mass removal spell for nature.
It is.
Actually, I mentioned this card in my latest article on alterrealitygames.com.
So check that out. Link will be in the description.
Or maybe the second, one of them. Just
one of them. I think there's an article, then it has Tendril Grasp. But, so yeah, it's the first real mass removal spell that nature has seen. It's the first real mass removal spell we've gotten, honestly. I mean, Barrage is cool, but it can be hit or miss. Late game, it's not exactly the greatest card in the world because they're not beating down on you with little guys all the time.
Yeah, of course, this is a much harder card to play than Barrage because it affects your side of the battle zone too. So
it's something you have to play with.
You can't just bust it open whenever they have one or two creatures that are little on the field because you might be returning.
You might have a Seneschal and Razorite out there.
They don't really want to do that unless it's dire situations.
Right.
Yeah. But,
I
actually was talking. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, play with this card kind of conservatively. It's not like CBH. It's not something you just kind of throw out there.
Yeah, I've seen it wasted already.
Yeah.
But I've also seen it played well, and I lost a game to it when I was returning. It returned 3 things on my side.
Right. So it's something.
I was talking to Preston of Denver Kaijudo because I was skeptical about the card, and he was telling me, I think it's awesome. And I was like, well, why do you think so? And he's like, it returns Neuron and Laser Arm Dracon. And I was like, oh yeah.
And it hits. Doesn't it hit? What's his face? The Light League promo. He's only level 3.
No, it's level 4.
It's level 4.
Yeah. Damn. But it hits Neuron and Laser Arm Dracon and the no speed. It hits a lot of things. It's a good shield blast for nature to have, of course. It keeps them, because nature, if you're running a nature water deck or just a pure nature, it's mostly just aggro, and it doesn't really have ways to deal with rush decks. Which are going to be
return to the soil.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now we have mass kill, or mass removal.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good thing to have against those types of decks as well as Evo bait.
Absolutely. But, and it's another thing to be wary about with this card is how much mana you're giving your opponent.
Yeah, because it can be a lot.
Evos are considerably cheaper this time around.
The good ones are.
The good ones are. Between, Hydra Medusa only being 5, Neuron being 3, and Bronze Arm Sabretooth being 4.
Yeah, when you think about
those are really easy to summon.
It's not really cheaper than they were in Duel Masters, but everything else is kind of more expensive. So when you see a turn, when you see a turn 3 Neuron or a turn 4 Sabretooth, you can't really Terra Pit that right away, so the only thing you really have is Bone Blades.
Right.
Yeah.
So be careful with how much mana you're actually going to be giving your opponent, just because you don't want them to set up... Apparently we're getting phone calls, which is cool, but you don't want to set them up too quickly. No one's available to take some calls. So there's that. There's the tone. And they hung up. Good. We were just going to listen to CVH's voicemail, but apparently it's not important. So
I'm very thankful for that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I've completely lost my train of thought.
You're saying something about giving your opponents too much mana.
That's right. You don't want to set them up, especially if you have knowledge of their hand because of cards like Puppet or something like that. You don't want to set them up for, summon a Prickleback, then summon a Sabretooth right on top of it.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
So it can put you at a disadvantage. So it's one of those cards you have to be smart with.
Yeah, that whole thing about mana is more relevant early game, especially if you hit it in shields. You're hitting a rush deck, they have say they have 2 mana and they hit, like the first Shield Blaze Belcher, they hit a Tendril Grasp. If you play it, which is still probably the smartest thing, boom, they're up to 4 mana, they no longer need to play mana. That means all the cards in their hand are live. Right. That's a problem.
So they can be dropping, especially because we got the Rikaboo reprint.
Yeah, like you have, like, all of a sudden they can Gilaflame without dropping cards in hand, and like it's a lot harder to get them down in options because they don't have to play mana themselves. Of course, you have a couple turns to defend against that because you Tendril Grasp the field, so it's just something to think about. I'm not saying that would be a bad play. No, of course, play the Tendril Grasp, but back of your head, they have 4 mana now and you have 2, so yeah.
Be aware of these things. So that's Tendril Grasp.
It's very cool. Recommended.
Very cool. I like it a lot. Expected to see play for a while, especially in decks that are running nature.
Especially in decks that are running nature, you don't say.
Well,
because decks that won't run nature.
Open foot, insert mouth.
Yeah.
But
that's a quote.
But expect to see it around for a while. Yeah. With Evos being popular and decks that are playing lower and lower level costs.
Basically, especially in like aggressive decks with nature, or decks that require setup and stuff, because that's a good card to stall out and hopefully get up to there. Yeah.
So yeah, Tendril Grasp.
Pretty cool.
Lots of fun. Ta-da. So that announcement that we were sort of hinting at earlier in the video.
I had witnessed a tweet from Wizards Kaijudo linking me to the interview with Kieran, brand manager of Wizards Kaijudo, whatever. I guess the Kaijudo part. And you know the promotion that they were going to do with card shops? That was like, if you sanction an event and like report it to Wizards and it has 8 or more players, at least once a month, they'll give you this sweet promotion with some Magic product, some D&D product, whatever, some Kaijudo product. Yeah. And I was like, wow, they're rewarding stores for having tournaments. That is super cool. My store has tournaments. We're going to get cool stuff for being part of the scene.
And we get 8 or more people pretty regularly.
Yeah, so we could have easily done that and got some support. However, I read the interview, and it was a lot more explicit than the Reddit question and answer thing. Yeah. Apparently, not only do you have to have a tournament once a month with 8 or more people, you actually only have to have 8 or more of the target audience.
Being so like, 8 to 12 years old.
You can have 16 people with 8 of the target audience and you're set. Or 8 people with the target audience being 8 and you're set. But if you're like our store, where we have like 10 to 15 players.
Player is 14?
Yeah, we have 10 to 15 players. And none of them are the target audience. Yeah. Because the target audience isn't just wandering outside the store waiting to get into a new game. Right? I mean, I'm not saying, like, go for the target audience. I'm fine with them going for, like, an advertising and everything. But what this is basically doing is punishing stores who don't have the target audience, but do have a scene for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's, the way I phrase it, they're shooting themselves in the foot. It is one of the worst decisions I've ever heard.
Dear God.
Well, from this game up to this point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's... there are stores, you know, I mean, even Andy Chris's store, AD Thorne, apparently he was hitting close to 30 people.
Weekly.
And...
Again, I bet like 2 of those are the target audience, if that. Yeah, so
and
like...
he told them, and he said, you know, about half of them said, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, like a good 10 or more players when the organized play thing was announced, like...
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, and then to see this on top of that...
It's not a smart business move. Yeah. It's not, because, you know, reach the target audience, that's fine. Advertise, put it in big box stores, Walmart, Toys R Us, get their attention. Make sure, if you want them to be at the card stores, direct them to card stores. Because they're, you know... Kids these days are pretty technologically savvy.
Mm-hmm. I saw how to use the 9-year-old with an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone yet.
They know how to use the internet, all that kind of stuff. But they're not the, you know, kids who are looking to get into TCGs. They're lurking.
Yes.
They're looking to get into TCGs aren't going to be like, oh, you know, what are the local card shops in my store? They're going to be like, oh, let me show my friends this. Yeah. And we'll just play as a group. You know, it's not something that they actively seek out. And, you know, I mean, look at our store.
Yeah.
How many 8 to 12-year-olds just wander in there?
They're just all waiting outside to get into Kaijudo as soon as they hear about this promotion.
Exactly.
Right? No. But, like, to me, it's simple logic. Like, I was chilling with Kevin and Dante and them, again, not at the target audience. Mm-hmm. And, like, some guy who apparently knows me, I forget his name, but he was like, you know, he's just watching the game, looking pretty interested. I was like, sweet. And he was like, is Wizards planning any major events for this game? And he said, big events. And I was like, I had to give him the straight answer. I had to say, well, nothing like a regional system has been announced. But, you know, they're doing the release events starting in March with sets that come out, which are bigger than locals, I guess. Yeah. I mean, like...
We'll see what happens with those.
He just looked uninterested, and, like, I can't really blame him. Like, I'm part of this game because I love the game, so I want to stick with it.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I can't really blame people for not getting into it. And at the same time, I don't see any kids coming up to me and asking me, like, about the game. And if I did, like, if the kids came up to me and I was like, yeah, they're planning big events for this game, too, Like, whether or not the kid was going to play in those big events, they wouldn't turn away from the game because this game had big events.
Right.
Like, big events don't turn kids away. They just allow the kids to be part of the game that adults can also be. Like, what is the phrase? Like, it gives us a reason to play the game.
Right.
Yeah. Entices us to keep buying product.
I mean, your average 8 to 12-year-old is going to hear, oh, they're planning a big event, and think, oh, let me talk to my parents. Maybe we can go up to Richmond for a weekend so I can play in a tournament.
I mean, hey, I did it.
Yeah, you did it. But not everyone has parents like you either.
Yeah.
My mom had a hard time letting me go to locals when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! She wasn't comfortable dropping me off at a store for 5-6 hours at a time by myself with my brother. That was something we had to warm her up to. So...
I'm from the streets, so...
True.
Yeah. But, like, the point is, like, nothing is stopping from having big events in conjunction with the league. Like, I love the league, but right now it seems like everything is focused on league. If it's not league, it's not that important. Local tournaments are cool, but only if they have the target audience. Like, that's not okay, because we have local tournaments and we want to keep having them, and it would be kind of nice to see some support for having them, such as you're giving to the stores with the target audience. But I'm pretty sure 99% of the stores in this country are either going to lie about the target audience or just not get the promotion and stop supporting Kaijudo because they're not making money off of it because you guys want to acknowledge the fact that they have a player base that's older than you'd like. So, that sounded harsh, but true.
Yeah, it needs to be said, This is something that I really hope Wizards can rectify, because it does feel like we're being punished.
Yeah, I mean, if a 12-year-old came in tomorrow and wanted to play, I would give them a deck. I would just, support.
We have extra commons and uncommons, and even I've given away a playset of Shakanos.
Yeah, I've taught people how to play. I've given away a playset of Bolt Tails. I've given away so many logo scans.
Right? Getting text messages?
I know.
But
I bet it's an 11-year-old asking me to learn how to play Kaijudo.
No, it's not.
Hold on. I think it is.
We're waiting.
It's actually not.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating for the amount of work that, especially we here as a group have put into growing our local scene.
Look at the amount of
those
YouTube
of you
videos
out there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at people like Carl Reddish, like Andy Chris, like, the Tom Rogers who are out there trying to promote their scene for no reason.
Tom and Andy have a website directed to the competitive player. We create videos directed to the competitive player. So does people like Carl Reddish and Drizzer and Channel Kaijudo Master and all them. And Corey, of course, does like the updates, which, also directed towards
toward the competitive player.
I've written over 15,000 words on ARG. Like, that's a lot of words. Yeah. That's a lot of time, all right? And the point of that, like, we're trying to do with all this work and all these videos and the articles is that we're trying to make this game seem legitimate in the eyes of, like, the players who are, like, 15 plus. Because we want them to get into this game, too.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't work if it's only us doing it, because we can only go so far as a group of players.
Right. And, and I think part of this is because I don't think Wizards honestly has a real solution to something like that. And, what our local does for Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, they split up the brackets.
Yeah.
They have a beginner and an advanced bracket. Or beginner and advanced bracket, rather. And those beginner kids are in that target audience. And
they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they have tournaments.
Yeah, because they have tournaments. They're there to play in the tournament.
Yeah.
They're not there to buddy around and get promos and have fun. I'm sure
that'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be nice to get promos for playing the game.
That's what I'm saying. If you combine the league system that we already have and the promos and the support we have in the community with just like a simple tournament structure, we'd be golden.
Give us sanctioning.
Yep.
People want to be rewarded for playing.
Yeah, even the Planeswalker points, totally fine with that. Don't care.
Yeah. Magic players don't seem to have a problem with it because they still get sanctioning.
Yeah, honestly, the older players don't even compare. I don't care about ranking that much. I don't
really care.
I'm gonna check.
Cool.
But yeah, just
I'm number one in the state. Oh,
hooray.
Don't care.
Been there, done that.
I'm here to play the game and grow the scene and have fun. I think that can be said of their target audience. I think that can be said of anyone who's playing the game right now.
Yeah.
And, they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot with this move. It's not the best decision in the world.
Well, I hope they're listening.
Yeah.
So they can rethink that.
And, we've kind of rambled.
A little bit.
But I think the overall point has been made. As a community, we're doing everything that we can to try to show them that we're interested. Try to show them that we want this game to succeed. And
on many levels, not just our level, not just the local kid level, just on both levels. They can be a thing.
Yeah, they can coexist.
I know you might be apprehensive because you had organized play that was amazing in Duel Masters, and the game didn't give you the profits it should have. But like, you can't blame that on the organized play. The organized play was the best thing about that game, was how you ran that. The advertising in the show was absolutely horrible. But now we have like an amazing show, great advertising, people in the community who listen to us, and just like a little bit of sanctioning, a little bit of organized play, and bam. Like, I'm done asking for things. Like, we'll just enjoy that forever.
Exactly.
Well, pretty much,
so...
I could have gotten so many people in the game if there's been organized play, but people regard this game as sort of a joke, which it's not.
It's not. Yeah. It's a well-balanced, well-thought-out, skill-intensive game.
And it's also very simplistic and fun for the younger bracket.
Exactly.
So if you have League for them to enjoy, and if they want to have like a younger division tournament, if they have the players for that, then go right ahead. You can have that for them. Some older players enjoy League too, go right ahead. But also provide support for those stores who have tournaments with a mainly older bracket.
Right.
And then eventually introduce something like a regional system would be amazing. Right. But, again, like, that's not even what this video is about, because this is just about the local announcement.
Right. But focusing so exclusively on the target audience when so much of the community has been working this hard,
hungry.
How many videos has Earth Power put up? Over 300.
We're almost at, we're like 350 almost.
Yeah, we're almost at 350.
In a little bit, yeah.
And
that's so much.
That's a video a day nearly a video a day, because we've only been around for about a year.
With us in college and everything, it's hard to believe that we've actually had the time to make even once every other day a video, but we have.
And Corey works 40 plus hours a week.
It's amazing that I've maintained a social life outside of this game.
Exactly.
I get no sleep.
And
I do.
We're just not seeing any sort of reward for our effort. Yeah. It doesn't bode well for. It honestly does not bode well for the future of this game, for the future of the community, and just focusing on the target audience like this is just not a good move. It's not.
I know.
Get the younger players into it. That's fine.
Love them.
Yeah.
That's what we were. We were younger players once.
Right.
Remember?
We were younger players at a point, but we want to see something for our efforts. Because
I do think,
like it or not, this game is grown by the older players.
Yeah.
Every game is. Look at games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, like Magic.
Pokemon.
Who's dominating those? Not even dominating the brackets. Who are the most prominent figures in the scene?
Yeah.
Not even competitively. Like, people who just make informational videos.
Yeah, and it does. You might be thinking, I don't want a game where people are prominent in the community. We already have that.
Yeah.
Corey
is almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, you want people who are prominent, even if they're older, because they're the people who get younger players into the game. You think people look up Kaijudo on YouTube? I'm sure there's a good amount of younger kids who look up Kaijudo on YouTube, find Corey, and think, well, that's interesting. I want to subscribe to this informative guy and learn more about this game that I'm interested in. And then some of the more competitive ones might see that there's not even support for locals and say, well, my store supports Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals. What am I going to do?
Right. So it's just food for thought. We know Wizards gets out there and watches these videos. We know
it'd be totally cool if one of you sees this. Yeah. Maybe bring it into work, share it with some people at the planning committee or whatever. It takes 20 minutes. I think we brought up some great points. Yeah. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I love you guys. You're awesome in the community.
We love the support you've given so far. We just want to see something for our effort.
Because I bought a fair share of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fury, and I have to say, if this is the exact same situation in 4 months, and the release events are not announced to be all that, and there's
logo.
If they're just that, and there's nothing else announced in the next 4 months, which there really should be, I'd hate to not buy the next set, but I'm just not going to buy the next set.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Our goal is to prove that the competitive scene and the casual scene for the target audience can coexist.
And they can.
They can.
It's been proven.
It has.
It's been proven with Duel Masters. Even though you ran that game into the ground in English, it's been proven to work.
Magic, it's been proven with Pokemon, it's been proven with Yu-Gi-Oh! It can happen. And we want you guys to help us make it happen.
Because we love this game.
We do.
And we love you.
I don't want to have spent $300+ on this game for nothing.
Yeah. A lot of time, too.
A lot of time, a lot of effort.
Time is money.
We put a lot of effort into these videos.
Yes, we have. And we hope you appreciate it, guys. Yeah. Leave a like if you do.
So, I think that's going to do it. We've rambled enough.
Yeah. Just for 6 minutes, where's Tendril grass?
Yeah, I know. So, it's just something to ponder on as players, and, if Wizards is watching, which I hope they are. I think we are.
Let's announce it then.
Yeah, so... To kind of
Well, we're doing it now, even if Carl doesn't want to. It's our segment, damn it.
Screw it.
Yep.
So
since we did last week, you could have commented, and people commented on Tendril Grasp. This week, leave a comment of another Evo Fury card you want to see us go over next week. And you will get a signed copy of Tendril Grasp. I'll guarantee that myself.
Even if CVH has to be the one to send you the Tendril Grasp.
I'm going to make Carl send it, but it might be my Tendril Grasp, you guys. We'll sign it for you.
Yep. Yeah. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment on the video for what you guys would like to see next week.
Yes, reasoning would be great. We might just go ahead and pick, like, if you have good reasoning for a card. Only pick one card, by the way. If you pick 5, I'm not going to pick you either way. You're covering your bases and that's cheating. But pick one card. Have some decent to good reasoning. You don't have to write a novel. I'm not going to read all that, but just a couple sentences would be fine.
Just say like, oh, I really like the way this card. You know, it could even be a card you think looks really cool and you think might be competitively viable later.
I think you're thinking of certain things right now.
I am thinking. I've got ideas for what I want to do. I'm hoping you guys are on the same wavelength.
We'll get to them all eventually, but leave a comment down below for next week.
4 months to get to them.
Yeah, good lord. We might go back to base eventually, but just Evo here for next week, guys. You know, so
leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment on the video. Food for thought, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Wizards, I hope you're out there listening. It's going to do it for us here at Card of the Week, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you next week for Card of the Week. And, oh, of course, Carl wants us to mention drafting. We're drafting this Sunday.
Oh, yes, we're drafting this Sunday, so look out for videos from that.
For the Earth Power channel is going to be covering, I guess, a couple of matches, which would be awesome. I know y'all love seeing us booster draft. Very interesting to see card interactions in that different setting. Yeah. And next week on Ultra Reality, I'll be writing my article about drafting Evo Fury.
So, like, comment, subscribe, sub to CVH, sub to Poji Force.
Sub to...
Check the videos out.
Check him out on Twitter.
Check me out on Twitter. I'm just, retweeting people mostly, but who cares? I'll eventually start tweeting stuff.
Yeah.
I'll start using that website, right? I promise. But, that's going to do it for us here on Channel Earth Power.
Peach, guys.
Peach YouTube.